Jenny, I've been fortunate enough to observe you over the last few days, working with scientists, inspiring them, encouraging them, but most importantly, equipping them with skills and confidence to engage with the media and other types of communication. You have emphasized in more than one workshop the importance of preparation. Can you maybe tell us why is it not a good idea just to take a media interview on the fly? Why is preparation such a key component?
Well, I don't think any publicity is good publicity. I think if you want to do well in the media, you need to prepare. Preparation is essential. And I think there are some key steps to preparation. The first one needs to be, well, what do you want to achieve by doing this media? Particularly if they come to you. Hopefully you've thought about that if you're going out to the media and being proactive. But what do you want to achieve? Are you hoping to raise awareness? Are you hoping to get some funding for research? What is it that you specifically want to achieve by going to the media? It could just simply be that, the public's interested in this. It could be about public accountability, but you still need a good reason and a specific reason for doing that interview. And sometimes you might decide it's actually not at a good time to do an interview. You mightn't have, reviewed all the data yet. You might be working with commercial in confidence work, and it's not the right stage yet to go to the media. In those cases, you need to say, no, I can't do the interview now because blah, blah, blah. Never say no comment, it means you're guilty. But you may decide you don't have a good reason. But presuming you do, you then need to think about the audience. What audience do you want to get to achieve your objective? And not all media audiences are the same. People in the cities are different to people who live in country areas. People at different times of the day, like for example, often it's women at home during the day and men are at work. The women who are the consumers for the household, so you might want to reach them. And you might want to reach a certain sector of the community, like farmers, for example. So not all audiences are the same, and so you need to carefully think about that audience as well. Again, you need to think about the messages you want to get across using the message design process. What do you want to get across? What do they want to know? What could they get wrong unless you stress the correct information? That actually allows you to get inside the shoes of a journalist who tries to ask you the questions that they think their audiences want to know. That's all part of the messages. Then you need to do the preparation. You need to think about, well, what are dollar figures that are going to be important for this story? Are there some statistics I need to have at my fingertips? Are there ways of explaining something complex using an analogy? What pictures am I going to provide to newspapers or make available for TV cameras? What word pictures can I use in my interview? All of this is part of that preparation step. Once you've done all that, then I always say you should give a journalist something in writing. That may not be a media release. It may just be a few dot points you email through and a few facts and statistics. That will help to guide the interviewer's question. And then I think you need to sometimes rehearse. If you're not comfortable with the media, if you're not used to it, if it's going to be possibly a controversial interview, do some rehearsal. Get someone to play the part of a journalist, record it on tape or on video and play it back and have a look at that performance. Have a go at answering tricky questions. And most importantly of all, be prepared about what you're going to say and what you're not going to say during the interview. Because one of the biggest problems that scientists have is that they like answering questions and they're good at it. I mean, that's why they got to where they got to. And so when a journalist asks them a question, which may be stupid, they may have been asked to do this interview with no preparation time themselves, so they don't know the right questions to ask sometimes. And what I've seen time and time again is scientists politely answer the question with as much detail as they possibly can, even if it's outside their expertise, even if it's not on the message they want to get across on this story. And so an okay story comes out, but it's not what they wanted to get across. So scientists, one of the biggest things they have to practice doing is seeing questions as opportunities to get out one of their key points, rather than as something they have to answer in as much detail and as accurately as possible. Yes, they have to be accurate, but they have to be accurate about their message, not about some question that a journalist thinks to ask them.
Right. And so even when the media comes to you as a scientist or as a science communicator, I guess the same principles would apply. You would not necessarily say no, but you would take time to prepare.
Yeah.
If there is something that they want you to comment on, or a current situation, or maybe a outbreak of a disease or something like that.
Absolutely, yes. And you should have, I mean, if you're likely to comment on such issues, then you should have thought about that beforehand in terms of what issues could arise about your research, and have done all that preparation beforehand just in case that breaks, that issue breaks, and then you're prepared already. You don't have to say, well, I'll have to do my preparation and get back to you in a day. That's too late if there's been an outbreak of something. You'll have to respond immediately to the media, and you should be expected to.
I guess it's a typical case of the better prepared you are, the better the opportunities will also be made available to you, and you can build relationships with journalists that way.
I think relationships are crucial with any communication, but especially with the media. I mean, people see journalists as them and us, whereas I think if you can develop a trusting relationship with a journalist who you like the work that they do, it's good for you and it's good for them as well.
Thank you, Jenny.